Welcome to our web seminar today. We're going to be looking at drawings in Traverse PC. And for those of you who already have a lot of experience with Traverse PC, I don't know how much of this will be new. Hopefully we can teach you some new stuff. For those of you who are new to Traverse PC, we're going to be looking at some of the very important concepts that you need to understand in order to use the program the way it's intended, so that you're not fighting with the program to do something. Okay, so the first thing I want to look at here is your resources. I want to look at how do you get help when you need it? What resources do we have for you, whether it's on drawings or anything else? Well, in Traverse PC, in the Tasks Manager, I want to encourage you to all use your Tasks Manager. Right down here in the TPC Online section, you have access to the member area and the website. All right, if we go to the member area, you can get in here. You do need to log in to get into the member area, and then you can go to the Learning Center. The Learning Center is probably your primary way to get access to various resources. Now, so if, first of all, you can access the TPC User Forum. This is where our users can ask questions, answer questions, whatever. So you can chat with other Traverse PC users. If you're new to Traverse PC, I encourage you to go through the Quick Start Guide. It's very important that you understand the concepts behind Traverse PC, and this is a great place to start. Lots of things in here, the learning guides, all this stuff. At the top here, you'll see various tabs dealing with various sections of the program. So if I'm interested in learning about drawings in Traverse PC, I can come to the Drawings tab, and I'll get a quick look. So in this case, a 12-minute video, a quick look on how drawings work in Traverse PC. If you're a customer, if you already have the program and you're a customer, you can go into the Customer Area Drawings Learning Guide. And this opens a different page that's only available to Traverse PC customers. At the top is that quick video, and then underneath it, you're going to see various sections that will have more information for you. So you can look at how do you manage your drawings, for example, or how do you work with drawing templates. So we get a lot of videos here. There's online help topics. There's access to learning guides. Be aware that the Learning Center is a great way to learn what you need to learn when you need it. All right, back to Traverse PC. We're going to start here with the web seminar itself by looking at how Traverse PC's Quick View technology works and why it works that way as opposed to the traditional CAD methodology of drawing lines. So if you're not already aware of this is, or if you are already aware of this is going to be a little bit of a refresher course, and we'll talk more and get more in depth as we go. So what you need to understand is that Traverse PC is designed around your data. Everything, every view in Traverse PC is a view of your data, whether it is a Traverse view, which is where we can enter data, where a lot of your COGO happens, or whether it's the drawing itself. The drawing is created by our Quick View technology that draws the data for us automatically. So that is controlled by these check marks or tags in the Traverses Manager. As I start turning off these tags, you'll see the Traverses disappear from the drawing. All right? As I go back and turn them back on, the Traverses will come back into the drawing. So you can, in a way, you can think of these traverses as similar to traditional CAD layers. We have layers in our drawings, but we don't deal with it very often. It's traverses, for all intents and purposes, will replace traditional CAD layers. Now, in a traditional CAD program, I could tell that program to draw line type by layer, things like that. In Traverse PC, we have something similar. Now, I've selected lot 2 and lot 3 here. Those are these two lots in the southeast corner of the drawing with the two houses in them. I've selected them using a control click. And now I'm going to go into, rather than layer by layer settings, I'm going to go into Traverse drawing settings. So I can come in here and I can tell Traverse PC how I want these two selected traverses to be drawn. What kind of lines do I want? What kind of symbols, etc. So down at the bottom here, I can save different batches of settings. So how do I want to draw my property lines? Well, I can pull that from a list that I've already set up for the way I want to draw my property lines. Various features I can set up settings for, so I can pull it out of a list and not have to set it up each time. So now I'm going to go to a heavier solid line. I'm going to turn on distance and direction with leaders. I could turn on crow's feet if I want to. I'm going to continue to display my point numbers for now. I might turn those off later. And now I'm going to put a rebar at the corners. How am I going to label my curves and am I going to label my curves and spirals? Do I want to fill my traverses? So if I have like our house traverses there, maybe I want to fill them with something to show that it's an impermeable area or a driveway or something like that. If we include side shots, how do I want to draw them? And this is something I tell people, this is one of my screwdrivers in our workbench, our toolbox full of tools here. I'll use side shots for various things, to show a shot out to a monument that we tied or whatever. Lots of uses for side shots that normally you would just see in a field traverse. Do I want lot labels turned on? Sure, let's turn on the traverse name. I want to include square footage and acreage. Tell Traverse PC how many decimal places I want. There are some in-depth features. I can also include lot setbacks. So let's go ahead and turn on some lot setbacks here. And then there are some advanced features. We're not going to get into those. Basically, I'm just telling it how I want to draw these traverses. And if this is how I want to draw my property lines next time, because I made some changes here, I'll go in and update my property line settings so it'll automatically pull these in the next time I tell it I want property lines. So when I choose OK now, you'll see that these two lots are now being drawn the way I've specified. Sorry about that, I clicked in the wrong spot, including some setback lines. All right. Now, why is all of this important? Why are we using traverses the way we're using them here? The whole reason behind this is we're surveyors, and typically we're not designers, we're not architects, we're not engineers, we're not designing things. We start with what exists. All right, we start with data, and our drawing is a reflection of that, and then we manipulate the data as needed to get our work done. So what this means is that if I have this data in here and I find out I messed up somewhere along the line, for example, maybe when I was entering point 3 here, I inadvertently reversed a couple of digits, all right? Rather than north 23 degrees 27 minutes east, it was supposed to be north 32 degrees 27 minutes east. When Traverse PC, I just come back to my data and I enter what it should be. So I would just go 1 for the northeast quadrant, 32 for the number of degrees, and then 27 minutes even. I go ahead and enter that, and that updates the location of point 3 for me based on that new data. And because the data is creating the drawing, everything here has updated. Bearings and distances, everything is up to date, including our square footage and acreage. So this is the data creating the drawing for us. So I'm not worried about, are my labels correct? I know they're correct because the data is creating them for me. Now, another thing, because this data is creating this, we know that these lines and bearings and distances are right where they need to be. How many of you have received files from an architect or an engineer? Well, let's talk about a couple of things. How many of you have received files from them and you go in because you need to extract the coordinates from the file so you can go out in the field and stake out what they have designed for you? You go in and as you start working with it, trying to extract those coordinates to take out into the field, you find out that the guy that created it missed his snap. You know, he thought he was snapping on something, but he missed it by a little bit, and you find out that, oh, well, that's not where that ought to be. I don't know how many times I've seen it in files that we've seen in our survey business or files that I've seen one of our customers working with. It happens a lot. Another scenario is I send the architect or engineer some data, they send it back to me, but they don't care about coordinates like we do. They've changed the coordinates. So these are all things that happen in traditional CAD that do not happen in Traverse PC because of our QuickView technology. This QuickView technology gives you absolute accuracy and flexibility, as well as ease of use. So you can get the results that you need very easily when you start working with Traverse PC the way it's designed to be worked with. Okay, so what I tell, probably I've told most of you already in the past at some point, I don't come in and draw lines. Can I jump in and draw lines, snap lines between points? Sure I can. All right, I can draw this stuff. What I have probably told most of you is don't use those. Really, the only time I use these tools, line, polyline, arc, circle, ellipse, rectangle, the only time I use those is if I'm creating a drawing template. Other than that, I do absolutely everything using traverses. The traverses do the work for me, so I don't use these tools. All right? When you use these tools, you're entering that traditional CAD methodology that can give you problems down the line. And you're making it harder on yourself in Traverse PC. Okay? So let the traverses do the work for you, and they'll help you avoid mistakes and give you ultimate accuracy, flexibility, and ease of use. Okay, so I'll get off that soapbox. I'm sure a lot of you are tired of hearing that part, but it's very important, especially for our new users, that you understand that. All right, let's talk about temporary drawings and permanent drawings. So with our traverses, if I'm going in, let me, if I'm going to start a new traverse, say, I'm going to start a Lot 4 traverse. So I'm going to come to the Traverses Manager, double click in blank space, and give my traverse a name. I'm going to call it Lot 4. And one quick thing, if you're going to be using the traverses, using the lot labels to put information on your drawing for you, you want to type it in the way you want it to appear. So if you want it all caps, type it in all caps. All right. Choose a traverse view format. We're not going to go into much depth on this. I'm going to choose Deed with Curves here real quick. And I wanted to draw like property lines. Now, I didn't update my property line settings earlier. I just left them the way they were. So when this comes up, it's not going to have the lot labels and the setback lines, those kind of things. All right. But what we want to talk about is right down here, the drawing options. We have two primary options: share the current drawing or create a temporary drawing. Let's go ahead and create a temporary drawing, just so you can see what that looks like. Notice that I do not have delineate traverse or set tag on. I'm going to turn on delineate traverse because I get questions about this. So that you'll be able to see this, and if you see it, you will, if you see this, you'll know how to deal with it. I'm going to go ahead and choose OK here. Scott, we will be doing Q&A at the end of this. Right now, we're just looking at drawings in general. I will talk about your question once we get to the Q&A session. Thank you. And feel free, anybody can chat questions to me that we can try and handle as many as possible once we get through the rest of this part. I'm going to go ahead and choose OK here. And this brings me into a new traverse, but notice my drawing view here. I'm going to go ahead and bring this back over here so that we can see both my traverse view and my drawing view at the same time. So right now I am seeing a temporary drawing. Notice it says that it's a temporary drawing. Now, this is simply a drawing of just this traverse. So let's see how this works. I'm going to start it by recalling point 7. Whoops, I need to be in the right view. I'll hit my Enter key twice to recall that point, and then I'm going to recall point 8. So we can now see that this traverse is being drawn automatically in this temporary drawing. Now I could go ahead and, that was the north line of lot 3. Now I could start entering the rest of my data to close my figure. So I could enter a bearing and distance, or recall a bearing and distance. For example, let's, I think it's, I don't remember the point numbers. This is one of the disadvantages of working in a temporary drawing. I would need to go look at other traverses to try and figure out what bearing I want to recall. I'm just going to recall 2 to 3 right now, and then recall a distance. Let's say 2 to 3 again, just to get something in there. All right, so now I've recalled that bearing and distance. Now remember, I turned on that delineate traverse. That's this blue highlight that you see. All right. So I don't typically use that tool. About the only time I use that tool is if I want to see my traverse in relation to a complex set of other traverses. If this is turned on and you want to turn it off, there's a button right over here, delineate traverse. I can just turn that off, and now I don't have that blue highlight on it. Okay, so this is a temporary drawing, and I could go ahead and enter whatever I need to enter for this traverse. But keep in mind that this is a temporary drawing. If I come over here and change things around, all right, whatever it is I'm doing, this is a temporary drawing. If I don't take some step to make it a permanent drawing, these changes are going to go away. All right, so how do I make it a permanent drawing? Pardon me. So probably the best way to make this a permanent drawing is to close my traverse view. And unless you've changed your program settings to not show this dialog box, all right, if I turn this off, next time I close that traverse view, it's not going to ask me that. But it's asking me, do I want to save this as a permanent drawing? All right, so if I want to keep these changes I've made to this drawing, I need to choose yes here. And what that's done now is that has created a new drawing in my list for just lot 4. So if I open that drawing, and that did not even come up, there it is, just needed to regenerate it, there's my permanent drawing. So this is now a permanent drawing named lot 4. If I didn't say to save it, that drawing would be gone. And if I go back now and open lot 4 and tell it that I want a temporary drawing, this is back the way it was with a temporary drawing, the way that temporary drawing started out. All right, so temporary drawings are temporary. You have to take steps to save them as permanent drawings. All right, I don't typically work in a temporary drawing, and you saw one of the disadvantages. If I had been, if I start a traverse and tell it that I want to share the current drawing, so if I start a new traverse and tell it that I want to share the current drawing, I'm also going to turn off delineate traverse, but I'm going to tell it to set tag. Remember, if I don't set the tag, it's not going to show up in this drawing. It's just like lot 4, I didn't tell it to set the tag, so it's not showing up in this drawing. So if I go to lot 5 now, lot 4 isn't here. Oh, I want to display it. I need to go back and tag my lot 4 traverse into this permanent drawing. And now I could start working with my lot 5. All right, now this is running off the screen. Let's do a zoom extents. Whoops, I've got a point 0.25 here. I want to actually recall a point from lot 4. So what I want, it's 0.24. I should have known that. I'll recall 24. That'll help this get back to where it should be. Okay, so then my lot 4 is now displayed, and now I could be working with lot 5 knowing what I need to do. So if I need to recall this point up here, I can easily see, oh, well, that's 0.202. So I can easily recall it. So it's up to you how you work with temporary drawings. I don't typically work with them. I tend to work more with permanent drawings where I share my current traverse with that permanent drawing. All right. Okay. With permanent drawings, you need a way to manage them. All right. So let's say I'm working on a subdivision. Possibly my subdivision has various phases and it's got a lot of different lots in it. Well, I'm going to need various drawings based on various subsets of traverses. I'll need these different drawings. I need a phase 1 drawing, phase 2 drawing, et cetera, et cetera. So how do I do that? Well, what I can do is I can go to the Drawings Manager and I can create a new drawing at any point. I can double click a blank line to create a new drawing. And I recommend that anytime you're getting into multiple drawings in your file, you give them names that match what they contain. Just like we did with our traverses, lot 2, lot 3, lot 4, whatever that traverse is, we're going to do the same thing with our drawings. So maybe this is a phase 1 drawing or a phase 2 drawing. Let me redo that because of my So I'm going to name my drawings appropriately so that I can just find them out of a list. When I'm looking for my phase 1 drawing, I can just pick it out of the list very easily. So I've named my drawing, and then I can come down and I can choose a drawing template. Now we provide some drawing templates with the program, but drawing templates are very personal, I would say, to the individual surveyor. We all have our different styles. We all have different things we like. We all have our own company logos, all of these things. So we just give you some examples of different things that you may want to do with your template. But you will be customizing your own drawing template. So if I choose this mortgage drawing template and choose OK, now I'm in this mortgage drawing template that has various things on it. If I we'll look at a different template later on just so you get an idea how this works. But so I've created this new drawing that might be my phase 1 drawing. Then at this point, I might zoom extents on it, go to my traverses and untag whatever traverses I don't need in my phase 1 drawing. Go ahead and get it set up, do a zoom extents. And if you're not familiar with this, a zoom extents is going to scale this to as large as Traverse PC can draw it on this sheet of paper. Now, that put it at about 45 feet to the inch, so maybe I want to take this to 50 feet to the inch. All right, so be aware we use smart drawing objects, so our scale bar, I don't need to edit text or anything. It's automatically updating based on this scale. Maybe I decide, I don't have enough room here. Let's take it to 60 feet to the inch. I can simply choose the scale I want, and I can move this stuff around in my drawing. I did a control drag and drop to move this. We're not going to go in depth into that. We can come back if we need to. If you've got questions on that, we can handle it at the end. But moving my survey on the sheet of paper, notice I said on the sheet of paper, it did not change my coordinates. Coordinates in Traverse PC are what this is all based on. It's your data. So we're not going to be messing with your data just because I choose to display it in a different spot on the sheet of paper. So I can then work up this drawing, and then maybe I want to create a new drawing for phase 2. I just double click, and let's choose a different drawing template, just foundation, just okay. So this is a different drawing template. So as you can see, various things you may want to do with your drawing templates. You make changes to your drawing templates. You can go up and go to Tools and save drawing as a template and update your drawing template. All right. And there is, in the Learning Center, there is information on working with your drawing templates. Okay, but this is how I can create multiple drawings in this one file, all based on different subsets of my data. Okay, I don't want these traverses in this drawing. What I want is these traverses. Okay, no problem. Tag those traverses, scale it however I need to scale it to get it on my drawing. Let's go to 200 and work up this drawing however I need to work it up. Okay, so you can work with multiple drawings based on different subsets of the data, and keep in mind it's all based on the data. So if the data changes, it will change all of our traverses in all of our drawings because it's just the data doing the work. And that goes back to why we work this way rather than the way traditional CAD works. All right, so I can have as many drawings as I want, as many drawings as I need in this. Now, one thing, a question that I get asked fairly frequently is, I have a project where it covers miles of road, and I need to show various sections with a cut line. So what we do in that case, and this file isn't a great example to work with, but what I could do in that case is, let's say that I want these in one section and then this is going to be in a separate section, and I just want to string together various drawings, right? All right, so what I would do is I would scale this drawing the way I want for this area, and I'm going to use a window extents to scale into just these two. And so then I would set my scale for these guys the way I want it. Let's go to 100 feet to the inch, put it where I need it, and imagine these are continuing and running off screen. Well, then what I would do is, this is one case where I would actually draw something, and I would want it in survey space, because I need survey, I want to attach it to survey coordinates. I would draw a line, all right, a cut line, or I'm sorry, whatever you want to, whoa, I forgot that let's just escape that. Let's get rid of that line. We don't want, I didn't even pay attention to what line type I had there. Let's get just a solid line. I'll leave it blue just so we can see it. Let's draw that again. Just running across here, and I might make it an ortho line, just due east and west. So there's my cut line, okay? So now I would work up this drawing. Now I want to move on to my next sheet. I would go to drawings, and I would take this drawing and duplicate it. So I duplicate this drawing, give it my new name. So that was sheet 1 maybe, so this would be sheet 2. Give it that name, and yes, I do want to open it. So now it's a duplicate drawing. Then I would just move this up to my next section and I would work through this road the way I need to. So each drawing would be at 100 feet to the inch, and I would just move on to the next section and work up that drawing, which shouldn't be difficult because the traverses are doing the work, and I've duplicated this stuff from drawing to drawing. So that's an easy way to do that. I kind of got a little bit out of sequence from what I was planning, but you see how the templates work? Every drawing is created from a template. That includes my temporary drawings. So if I had a temporary drawing of lot 5, this is created from a drawing template. This happens to be created from the save drawing as a template. That is created from the traverse drawing template. So if I want my temporary drawing to display differently, I would update my traverse drawing template. In addition, if we're doing a, let's close this. No, I don't want to save that. Let's say we're doing an intersection. I'm going to real quickly just slap something together here. Let's do an intersection, and I'm not going to get into this, from 13, and I'm just going to go 145, and we'll go from this point. Okay. So now if I want to see where that intersection point is, I can do view, all right? And this is where that intersection point would be relative to those two other points. Well, this is from a drawing template once again. So this is the Kogo drawing template. Every drawing, everything you see in the drawing view is based on a drawing template, all right? So just be aware of that. Everything is based on a template, and you can update these templates at will. So if I wanted my Kogo template to look like this template, I could save drawing as a template And here's the Kogo drawing template, which basically was just a blank sheet of paper. So every drawing is based on a template. I've shown you how you can save these. You can also, let's say I get this question fairly frequently as well. I want to bring a different template into this drawing. This can be problematic. All right. I can go to Tools and import data into drawing. And one of my options here is a drawing template. All right. Now I'm going to mention this real quick. Wherever you see this button, it's settings for what it's next to. So these are the only settings available for importing a drawing template. Now, this is an important setting. Because I am importing another template, it's going to bring in anything that is on that template. So if it has a north arrow and a scale bar, I'm going to end up with 2 north arrows and 2 scale bars. Do I want that? Or do I want to delete objects on import? If I delete objects on import, it's going to get rid of my logo, all this other stuff that's been added to it, and it's just going to bring in the stuff from the other template. So it's, you'll see here. I'm going to turn that off, choose OK. Let's choose a template. I sure went the long way around to get to here, so apologize for that. Templates. Let's choose something totally different. Yeah, totally different. That way we'll know. Go ahead and import it. Say, now I've got double logos, double north arrows, etc. So that's what happens. Now, if I go in and delete objects, it's going to delete all of the drawn objects. So if I browse again and choose site, that's one we haven't used, go ahead and import it, then it has deleted all of the extra stuff, all of the other stuff that had been added to that drawing. So this is, you know, it's kind of up to you. I do this very rarely. I typically, when I create my drawing, I'll use an appropriate template at that point. And then if I find I'm in the wrong template, well, I can just create a new drawing. It all depends on your situation, how much you've added to that drawing besides your traverses. You know, have you drawn anything? Those kind of things. So it can be a complex question. Is it better to import another template, or is it better to create a new drawing? Those are questions that can only be answered in the individual situation. So thank you for joining me for this web seminar on working with drawings in Traverse PC. I hope you learned something, even if you've been working with Traverse PC for a long time. So have a great rest of your day. Thank you.